Welcome to Fireteam chat. Welcome back, everybody. We are here again in 2017 for our first episode. Joining me today is Sean Finnegan.
Jump. Hello, everyone.
Jump. We are dusting off the cobwebs. We are ready to talk about Destiny again. Sort of. It's been a little slow, but we have some interesting stuff to discuss. We got the first blog post of the year. We're going to talk about some rumors that we heard over the break and how we feel about hearing these rumors. Like, do we think they're true? And we're going to talk about Destiny 2 a little bit and Iron Banner, of course.
All right.
Don't forget, you can leave us a review. You can watch us on youtube.com/fireteamchat. And like I said, I am dusting off the cobwebs, so I'm a little rambly in the beginning. But let's get into it, Sean. Let's talk right away. Raid return rumors. These have been swirling around for a while. We've talked about them before. It's one of my favorite topics on the show.
Oh, yeah.
I want to talk about why it could work and why it might not. So, first of all, it could work because it would be amazing. They could redo all the weapons, and I feel like I saw this online somewhere. Somebody did either a mock or a fake of raid weapons redesigned. Some people dug through the code and they found some stuff. Would it work? Yes. Short answer. I would love it if they brought back the raid weapons and gave us a reason to go back into those raids to get current light level standard weapons.
I would love that. And now are we talking here about all raid weapons, particular raid weapons from like specific raids?
Well, let's start with, I got the purple one. Let's start with the legendaries.
Okay, yes.
You know, you have the exotics. We'll talk about Vex and stuff a little later.
I only collect exotics.
Yeah, so let's talk about the purples, because there was some really fantastic stuff, especially in Vault of Glass.
Yeah, Fatebringer, best PvE weapon of all time.
Yeah, Mythoclast, and they've kind of made
Black
not
Hammer.
Mythoclast, not Mythoclast.
That's not a vault weapon, but
what was the
another
scout?
What
was the scout?
The scout?
I have it still in my vault because I can't delete it.
Oh God!
It's not. I wanted to say the cryptic dragon, but that's
nope.
Not
that's not it. That's
Vision of Confluence.
There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. It took me a second. So there's some fantastic stuff, but one problem we just mentioned two legendaries that have elemental damage, something that was removed from the game later. So they would need to introduce some new equivalent, and they have with a few hand cannons. But I don't know. How could they make it work?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think you don't have to do much to sell the Destiny audience on retrofitted raid weapons, right? Like, I think that everyone wants to go back to getting, year one Fatebringer, like, also Vision of Confluence. Like, these are weapons that, like, they were the first weapons that we got that were super awesome that everyone wanted because it was from the first raid, the first, like, high-end content. And, like, we like, as Destiny players, we like to kind of look back at the stuff we've done and kind of, we're nostalgic about things like that, right? Like, that's what's really cool about reintroducing those weapons. So you don't have to sell people on that. But like you pointed out, there could be some conflicts, right? Like reintroducing things into an updated sandbox, because if you take a look at the game Destiny is now versus what it was back then, it's actually wildly different. There's all sorts of balance tweaks and different design changes that have gone into even just the weapons, never mind the world and stuff. That, like, I don't know. I just don't. I wonder if it's feasible for Destiny devs to really put that much effort into going back and retrofitting weapons when I know that 90% of their effort is being directed, 98% of their effort is being directed towards Destiny 2 right now.
Definitely.
Like, it can't really be that high of a priority for them to introduce weapons that already were in the game before.
Yeah, so that's a good jumping off point to talk about some of the stuff that Dado talked about why it wouldn't work. And some of the things he brought up were the weapon system being different, how primaries don't have elemental damage. I mean, they could work around that. That one would probably be the easiest problem to solve.
Yeah, I mean, maybe introduce a little perk or something that, like, takes place, that gives the weapon some character that isn't just the elemental damage, yeah.
But he did bring up that the Crota raid is very messed up.
In what way?
Like, there's a ton of problems with its structure, and it's very easily gamed. Like, people can hack through it, basically, so they would have to
Are you talking about, like,
it.
skipping the bridge and stuff like that?
Stuff like that.
And stuff.
And
sure.
I don't know if Bungie really wants their player base doing stuff like that. But one thing Dado did point out was that maybe they don't care. They are focused on Destiny 2, 98% of them are. So maybe they just do it anyway. That is a possibility, but is that the type of content that they want to put forward? I doubt it. I don't think Bungie would do something like that. They would introduce something new and cool besides the weapons, about the raid mechanics, like new enemy types in those areas. Because if it's just the same experience, I don't know if people would like it as much. I feel
Do you
like
think it's easier? Well, see, that seems a little. I don't know. I mean, they both sound difficult to me. Not being a game developer, right? Like retrofitting weapons.
I'm not
and
saying they'd be
reintroducing
easy.
them to the
Definitely not
sandbox,
saying they'd be easy.
but also, yeah, like the same thing is like introducing new enemy types and archetypes into a raid. Like, I don't know. That also sounds really hard.
Because then you got to rebalance and everything. But they have to figure out a way to stop people from doing stuff like skipping the bridge.
Yep. I don't know how you do that without changing that whole level. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, because you got to go across one at a time.
Well, so that was the goal, right?
If you don't have the sword, you hit an invisible wall.
Just about every class with a sword can figure out a way to get across alone, right? I don't know.
And you can jump on top of the building and just stay up there and shoot everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, so those are definitely valid concerns, but there's nothing going on in Destiny right now. Every content is very light. We have Iron Banner coming back, which most of us have done enough times that we don't need to do it anymore. It's a very fun event. I'm not saying anything negative about the event itself. I'm just saying it's something we've done. It's not a new thing. We don't know what's coming in the future. Let me just read really quick what they've said. For starters, you haven't heard the last from the live team at Bungie. They're hard at work on another content update that will give you new reasons to fight. Before renewed orders from the Vanguard arrive, there are a bunch of fixes for some issues you've been talking about.
Cool. I mean, it's always nice to hear that stuff is coming down the pipeline. I just wonder what it'll be. You know?
And a lot of people have been asking that about the live team. Yes, we got Sparrow Racing. And what did you think of the Dawn event?
Dawning, yes. I thought it was actually a big improvement over last year's Dawning, right? I've said this before on the show. I don't really get into like the sort of holiday event type stuff. Like I'm very, very progression focused, and the idea of collecting, I don't know,
Armor, gear,
armor and gear and stuff, but that is holiday theme that I'm not going to use outside of the holiday stuff or outside of the tower. Like, it doesn't really interest me. But at the same time, I was reading a lot of feedback on Reddit and on Twitter from people who are playing the Dawning, and almost across the board, it was like very good.
Yeah,
people seem to really like it.
Strike scoring is really, really fun, and I really like the opportunities, the exotic quests. I mean, while they were simple, they were something to do. They were something to chase. I have a different problem.
Yeah, that stuff's all really awesome.
I'm at capacity with my gear. So if they're going to introduce any new event, I need to just start deleting stuff that I don't really want to delete. And I have to go through that sort of period of time where I spend an hour, 2 hours figuring out what gear I have, what I need to get rid of. Oh, what's the roll on all these guns? Because it's a good problem to have. They're giving me so much now. I have, like, every few weeks I got to just dump some weapons because I'm like, all right, how many scout rifles do I have? All right, which scout rifles am I keeping, and what do I need to get rid of? That's my game time with Destiny, and that's not fun.
Yeah, and I get that.
That is not a fun experience.
We joked, I think, a couple of weeks ago that I think we got into an argument, not an argument, but like a discussion out in the editorial pit about like classifying game types, right? Yeah. We were talking about, because one of the editors out there qualified Uncharted as a shooter. Would you call Uncharted a shooter?
No, it's a third-person action adventure.
Right. But the primary way you engage with the world in that game is shooting.
Stuff.
So by our own classification, it could be considered a shooter. Anyway, this discussion led to what is Destiny, and the joke was it's not a shooter, it's an inventory management game. It's like a spreadsheet game.
It is.
Because that is kind of what you're doing, is you're sitting and you're looking at your vault all the time. I personally don't have that problem because I'm not a big collector. Like I said, I'm very progression focused, so I'm taking a look at what armor and weapons are going to allow me to do X, raids or PvP, in the most efficient possible way. And once I find that way, I don't want to deviate unless I find something that is better. And the Dawning, the Strike exotic, or all of Strike specific weapons, like, they're cool to have, and I think it's awesome to go out and be able to get something like that, especially if it's a challenge. It's not that high of a priority for me. I would love to see, again, more events that are just giving me reasons to want to explore the world more and better my character.
Yeah, for me, that is a new raid. I talk about it so much on the show because I really want it, and I know that's selfish to say, and it's not easy for them to give that to us, but I'm not the only one.
Well,
everybody's talking about this and making rumors about this because this is what the community wants. This would be great.
Yeah,
but
you're just not going to get it.
Yeah, sometimes in games we don't get what we want.
I mean, it's not even just that. It's also just like, look at we've made predictions on this show before that Destiny 2's. A lot of people think it's
we
coming out
think it's
this
end
year.
of the year this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's really that close,
I think
there's
I
just
said
no way that you have the resources to
remember what I said.
design a new raid from scratch. Even if you started like a year ago and have
Yeah.
it live by the end of this year, like for a game that's on, like it's in the twilight
Yeah.
of its time, you're just not going to get it. What I have said before, which I think is much more likely and much more possible and potentially something that they implement in Destiny 2 is way, way more strikes.
Mm-hmm.
Like my favorite thing to do...
New?
Yeah, I mean, it would be awesome if we
I
could
don't
do
know.
new
I think
strikes. No, I mean, you're right. It's not.
Yeah.
They're not easy to make. I'm not saying
Yeah.
they're easy to make, but they're. I would imagine they're easier than a raid.
Like you're
right?
going to get one new strike even a month for the rest of the year.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
even that would be
know?
that would be enough to get me reinvested in the game from a PvE standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Because like I said, I outside of the raid in terms of PvE, I love just grinding the strike playlist, and I think there's this tremendously missed opportunity on
they're very
Bungie's
fun.
part to really explore the universe, right? Like the strike where Shield Brothers, right? The strike where you learn so much about the Cabal as like a race and what they're doing in your
World.
solar system, and like that you learn so much about this race that has just been in Destiny since the very beginning. That you didn't know before. And I think, like, how come we haven't seen that happen with the Fallen or the Vex, even though we got a lot of storytelling about them in, Vault of Glass, or any of the other races? There's just this, like, opportunity for them to take deep dives and unveil the lore of the universe to us through a strike where where it's shorter, it's more focused in design, and you can get them out. And I would, like, if I was at Bungie, I'd be like, what do I need to make a new strike every month in terms
Yeah.
of resources? Every month there's a new strike, and like maybe your playlist is 15 or 20 strikes, right? And you can rotate the ones that people don't like as much out, redesign them, upgrade them, put them back in. There's just like a constant
It's
rotation.
reused areas. It's like
Sure.
sectioned off areas, and then you build the mechanics around those areas.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is. So what's up?
Yeah, just file export.
yeah.
But I mean, like, I just think that there's an opportunity there to get people really interested in the world. Like I said, I'm the type of player who I love to grind strikes even if there's nothing to gain from them, because I like playing the game, and then two, I like learning more about the world, and I think that's your opportunity right there.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's maybe that seems like a reasonable thing, not a new strike every month, but maybe one or two new strikes before the end of the year in terms of maybe what the live team is planning on, deploying. I just don't think you're going to get a raid, so the highest we can hope for is those, I think.
I think we'll get repurposed old raids. I think at best we get the same raids upgraded with a few new mechanics. Like, it won't be drastically different. They add some little things, and we get new weapons. But with that announcement, like, that would be a huge announcement from them. With that announcement, they got to tell us what we're doing with the old gear. Like, are they going to give us a kiosk for all that stuff that we unlocked, or what? Because that's taking up the people that play raids. One other thing Dado brought up is like 2% of players play raids. So few people play them that reintroducing something at this scale would only be for the hardcore players.
Yep.
And that's a little dangerous.
I mean, it is from a business
big time
standpoint,
investment,
but like
yeah.
if you're going to take a risk as a game developer, I would totally bet on the hardcore people.
For me, that would be like the bow that they put on Destiny. Like, if that was the last update, or man, what if they did that in a rollout sort of structure? There's so much they could do there. They could do, all right, we're doing Vault of Glass this month, come back in April for the next one,
and
then
Crota Zen or something.
And then it's Crota Zen.
I would love to see retro. Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. I'd be so on board with that. You just got me thinking about like what would I like to see. I would love to see a retrofitted Prison of Elders, but that isn't just 3 or 5 waves or whatever it was before.
They kind of did that though.
No, but it's still 3. It's still a finite number of waves.
Oh, like just
I want
go until you die.
firefight. That's what I want. Just go until you die.
Yeah.
Like, get the highest score you can. Like, that would be so awesome.
Yeah,
right?
and that's all existing stuff that they could make. So that would be pretty easy to refit, it seems.
Yeah, I mean, like,
increasing difficulty though, that would be the challenging part.
Would it just more units? Like,
Yeah.
That's all it is. Like,
well, you got to worry about processor resources and RAM resources. And
okay,
stuff like that,
sure.
So
Like, there's probably some technical limitations in the game.
it's already
itself.
pretty tough though.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like, wouldn't it be awesome if you could dive into Prison of Elders with 2 of your most hardcore Guardian friends and just coordinate strategy to see how long you can live. Like, and then people are competing to get to wave 15, 20,
dude, in Halo
25.
Reach, I would just camp for like Gruntpocalypse, and I did that for so many hours.
And that's what's so cool is like that type of gameplay, extended period gameplay, like it changes the weapon types and your loadouts, right? Because suddenly you're not aiming for burst dips, you're aiming for survivability, you're aiming for sustainability, like you're coordinating supers, you're maximizing your orb usage. Like, I don't know, that's the type of hardcore play that I would love to get. And that doesn't, to me, it doesn't seem like that big of a jump because you already have the Prison of Elders area, you already have the enemy types, all you have to do is balance a little bit to make sure waves don't get too hard too fast. I don't know. I'm not a game dev. I have no idea. It's probably extremely hard, and I'm just making light of it. But man, that would be so cool. Maybe it's a Destiny 2 thing.
So, speaking of Destiny 2, before we get there, let's talk about Iron Banner briefly. It's back. Basically, you got chest and arms, and the weapons are sidearm and rockets.
Cool. I have those already.
So yeah, I have those already. I'm not going to play very much, so I don't know if we really want to spend. What else is there to say, really? You've gotten everything from Iron Banner.
Do we know what mode it is?
I believe it was Clash, which was fine.
Yeah, we've talked about that before too.
We like Capture the Flag more.
I still think Control is the best.
Well, that's what I meant. Sorry. Yeah, Control.
Okay, because when you say...
I like that the guy who's playing Halo didn't call it CTF. I did, the guy who plays Destiny stuff.
Well, that's the thing is, like, because in Destiny, when you call it CTF, what you mean is Rift, but it's not really...
Yeah. You're right.
It's not really Capture the Flag.
Definitely.
Like, because there's just the one spark.
But yeah, I'm...
It's more like Assault in Halo. Or one bomb in Halo.
I'm just like not incentivized at all to go into Iron Banner. It's like,
well, it's. Just,
I'm not saying they shouldn't do it or it's bad that they're doing this or anything. Of course, we love Iron Banner, but for me personally, I've done it. I've gotten all the gear. I don't have the vault space.
Yeah, and I mean, here's
I'd rather play Trials.
Destiny is a progression-oriented game, and there's nowhere to progress right now. Like, it sounds like we're hating, but we're not. We're really 3 years deep into a game that has been so good in terms of the gameplay department that we're still playing it 3 years later.
I play every Tuesday. I'm still hunting my icebreaker.
There's so much to be said about a game that you could spend. I mean, how many hours have you played this game?
Over 1,000. It's over 1,000.
Yeah, I'm at 850, 900 hours, something like that. Like, there's so few people out there in the gaming world who put that many hours into a single game. Like,
even like Mass Effect 1 and 2, it's... I checked my saves because I'm playing through it right now, and it's like 30 to 35 hours for 1 and 2 per game.
Yeah.
That's nowhere near how much time I've spent in the world of Destiny.
Exactly. So like that's so huge props to Bungie and the team over there for being able to design a game it's so fun to play that we just get to, like, even if you're not gaining anything from it, you're just having fun. That's awesome. But at the same time, like, if the hook of Destiny is this sort of upward regression, right? Like, the more you play, the more you achieve, the better your character gets. And like, we're just at the tail end of the game now where you're not getting any better. So it's like you kind of lost a lot of the incentive, you know? And like, that's the thing is that's where, in my mind, that's where Destiny falls short compared to a game like Halo, for instance, is yes, the gameplay is really, really good. But if you remove the progression out of it, the progression hook for the players, and you're making it just about the skill cap, whereas the more you play, the more you achieve, the better you get at the game. If that's the hook, there are better games for that. For instance, Halo.
Right now. And I think the reason that's happening, though, is because we're so far advanced in the world of Destiny.
Totally.
Now, if I hadn't done a bunch of the raids yet and there was still a light level to chase or just anything, really, like, the only reason I play on Tuesdays is because all I feel like I need to complete my experience is get that last exotic that's not unlocked. There's the volley that isn't unlocked yet that a lot of people are wondering about. They're just like, did it get cut? Like, what happened? So yeah, we're going to transition into Destiny 2, so let's talk about that. So there's a lot of history here with Destiny 1 that we have. There's our armor, the raids that we've played, the weapons, the ghosts that we've collected, all the gear. So this question was posed on Planet Destiny, and I thought it would be a fun discussion topic. We were light, so I looked around to see kind of what the conversation was in the community, and I thought we could have it today, Sean. So
let's do it. What is
here we go. Would a fresh start be better for Destiny 2? And what I'm wondering is, what if they just kind of reset? Your Guardian's gone, your Gear's gone. They have to do some sort of incentivization for players who played Destiny 1 and then went into Destiny 2. They know that. Like, I don't know how they handle that. But for me, because mechanically the game is rigid, you get stuff, it either goes in your vault or you delete it. And then, I don't know. It's just weird with all the different, you have armor parts, you have weapon parts, you have glimmer, you have ascendant materials, you have helium filaments, all these little materials that you got to worry about and manage. What if they just scrapped it and started over? And that's been the rumor, that might be how they go.
Yeah, so I mean,
would it be beneficial to the game and to the community to sort of start over with some sort of, I don't know what they do there. I don't know what the solution is there.
Yeah, so here's an example of where someone, okay, so in Diablo, when you played Diablo 3 for the first time, and then you finished that and got to max level and finished all the high-end content, when Reaper of Souls came out, and which is the big expansion, players who had finished all of the original content, like, it was still a reset, right? Like, you could still create new characters. There was all this new stuff, right? Your characters weren't erased or anything. Let's be clear about that. You still had your characters. So I guess it wasn't entirely a restart or a fresh start.
I know what you're saying, though.
But players who had accomplished stuff in the previous game were awarded something in Reaper of Souls, which were the wings, right? Like, you get these big glowing, like, angel wings, which look totally awesome if you're a Diablo fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But they're on your character, they glow, and new players are always like, whoa, what are those? And you're like, you had to play the first one, you know? Like, there was no other way to get it. I think now you can get them a bunch of different ways because, I don't know.
Players want them.
Players want it, yeah, totally. But, like, maybe that's one way of incentivizing people, like, who played the first game. Something small like that would be the best thing to do, I think, if you're going to do something like this. But it's all in relation to what we're hearing about Destiny 2, right? Like, the rumor is that Destiny 2 is going to be like a wildly different game. Like very, very, like not even almost unrecognizable from the first one, minus that it takes place in the same
still
universe.
Still Bungie. It'll feel right.
Yeah, it'll feel like Destiny. It'll be Destiny, but like a bunch of new features, new mechanics,
story.
All sorts of different stuff, right? Because the rumor is it's supposed to launch on PC, right?
Including
That's
PC,
the rumor.
not launch on PC.
When you say it that way, also launch on PC.
Yes.
Yeah, like it will launch on consoles.
So mechanically, there's new stuff to consider.
Right, but if you just take a look at games like that are on PC in the past, like they tend to be way more deep than Destiny has been for consoles. And if Bungie wants to entice that PC crowd, they're going to have to do a ton of stuff.
Transmog.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah, that's another really cool feature. But yeah, so like the point is, if you believe those rumors, and I kind of do think like we're going to see, I don't think we have any idea of what Destiny 2 is going to be like. I think they're going to reveal it and we're going to be like, whoa, this looks crazy different in a good way. Then I think you have to do some sort of incentivization. But like if you want to retain your core player base, I don't know, don't wipe characters. Like, I think you can't get rid of most of the main systems. Helium filaments, like your inventory, all the stuff that's
going to be massively revamped.
Yeah,
I would bet money right now that they revamp the inventory system massively.
Yeah,
it's a huge problem with this game.
And wipe all of my resources, glimmer, helium filaments, like expendables, consumables. I don't care about any of that crap. Weapons and armor, I feel like you got to get rid of them somehow, but you can't just like delete them without giving anything in return to the player.
I mean, with Transmog, maybe you just get the ability to, did you beat Vault of Glass in Destiny 1? You can make your armor set look like the Vault of Glass gear.
Okay, that's cool. So there's this great system in Counter-Strike. I don't know what it's called. It's like an upgrade system though, where if you're collecting skins of a certain quality type, like common or whatever, right? You can group 10 of those together, turn them into one weapon in a card, and then you submit that card, and it randomly gives you a weapon that is of a higher quality. Yeah. One weapon, right? So it's like trading 10 uncommons for one rare, and it's a random rare. Like, and maybe that rare item is from, if it was Destiny, let's say, like, it's one of the new legendary weapons or something. Like that
you shred
would be really
your
cool.
exotic and you get something new.
Well, not an exotic, but yeah, like let's say you had 10 old legendary weapons, and grouping those two together and then turning it into, I don't know, the Cryptarch or whatever, gave you an exotic engram back, but it's from Destiny Year 2 or whatever.
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2.
Which is what it'll be called.
Yeah.
You're going to lose that bet.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see.
We will see. But something like
That's
that
a really
could be
good
cool,
idea.
right? Because that way I'm giving away the weapons that I need to get away, right? So
Yeah.
they're not taking up inventory space or vault space.
You'll still
but I'm
have-
still gaining something.
They would never. You would still have them in the world of Destiny 1.
Yeah.
But your Destiny 2 character, hey, like we look back in the history of your ghost and he had this other guardian in Destiny 1. And because that was
crazy lore.
your guardian, you can access his memories. And his
So are
memories
you-
include everything he did. There's a lot they could do there.
It gets very
narrative-wise.
Assassin's Creed-y.
Yeah.
Well, so you're on board with the idea of like characters being wiped? See, I don't like that either.
There
I
has
like my ugly character.
There has to be something in Destiny 2 that allows you to kind of retain the soul of who your previous character was, but I want it. I'm ready to put Destiny 1 on the shelf and remember my experience with it, and I'm ready for Bungie to deliver something completely new that I'm not necessarily completely comfortable with.
Well, I mean,
Like,
do
I'll be
you think
comfortable
that,
gameplay-wise, but I'll be in unfamiliar territory, and to me that means I get to learn again like I have with Destiny.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're getting at.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's entirely impossible with retaining your character, right?
I agree. I think they could. They're going to have to do it in a way. People would be furious if they were just like, yeah, your character's gone. Get over it.
Yeah, because like in
And
Mass Effect 2 from Mass Effect 1, they're totally different games, but your character's still the same, right?
Carried over.
Yeah, so it's like,
Well, it could be, or you could totally change your character if you wanted to. So, like, you had the ability where it's like, do you want to import your save? Yes. Would you like to customize your appearance? Yes or no?
mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe even something as simple as that. Like, hey, do you want to customize your appearance going into Destiny 2? Pick your best gear because that's how you're going to start Destiny 2.
That's not a bad idea.
You're allowed to carry over one exotic primary, one special, and one heavy. Choose wisely, you know.
Actually, that's not a bad
Something like
idea,
that
right?
would be
Like
really
yeah, let's say
Plus,
like,
you got all this glimmer and other crap that retains.
well, so I
value in
imagine
too.
the weapons you discovered, at least on the exotics and the armor, will still be available through kiosks. But yeah, like I actually kind of like that idea of like
forcing you to choose.
yeah,
one
at
of
the
each.
beginning of Destiny 2, it's like import your character. Yes, no, import, and then it's like all right, outfit your character, and then you get to choose one item per slot.
Yeah,
and that's it.
yeah.
And everything else you just have to earn throughout the game. Like that's cool. And then
To
maybe
me, I
once you
feel like what I did in Destiny 1 still mattered.
Yeah.
It's like your old guardian passes along stuff to your new guardian. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
I really like that concept. I think that'd be
and
really
then like
fun.
you jump into the game world and you see another guardian. He's like, I chose to bring my Thunderlord along. And you're like, well, Galahorn for sure.
Yeah,
You know, like I
yeah.
think that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. It'd be definitely an interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
But so, do you think the fresh start would be better? Is the question.
Oh man, I mean it's so hard to say, right? Like there's pros and cons on both sides. I hate to straddle the fence
You
here,
got to
but
pick
it's
one
so
or the
hard.
other.
Okay,
I'm going with.
I'm gonna
yes.
say no.
No. So
Yeah.
you want all the same mechanics?
No,
you want a full
no.
vault?
I would like okay.
Yeah.
When you're saying fresh start,
Yeah.
what I mean is your character's gone, your progression's gone, you're starting a new character. I'm not saying I want the exact same game.
Yeah.
Like, sure, new mechanics, new features, new things to do, new environments, new everything. I want a new game, definitely. But I do want my character, the one I've been working on.
I love the idea of forcing them to choose which armor set that they
Like,
take
I think-
into the second game.
Because like if you go
Because like
into,
they're resetting light level. Your light level's getting reset. I'm almost positive about that.
yeah,
but-
I mean, remember when there was no such thing as light level?
Yeah.
Like, there
Because that's
might
that's
not
a system
be.
that's troublesome also. Okay, you start at light level 40, but so basically you don't have to play the first half of the Destiny 2. It'd be weird, right? They're gonna have to reset everybody's progression to 0 with Destiny 2. Sure, your guardian, all your
Yeah.
gear. Let's say your guardian and your gear come over, right?
Uh-huh.
They still have to reset you to level 0.
Yeah.
So that you're working towards, and eventually your old gear will just be garbage.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fine with that. I want my old gear to become outdated because I want to earn new gear, but I just have this idea of like Destiny has gone to such great lengths to make sure that the world of Destiny and the universe of Destiny is consistent, so much so that like they didn't even introduce private matches because that doesn't work in the lore of Destiny.
Yeah.
Like even PvP, it's like you're jumping into a practice match. It's the Crucible. We have it so Guardians can keep their skills sharp. Like even that has like a place in the universe, right? it would just seem backwards for them to be like, all of that stuff you spent 3 years doing, none of it matters. It's like brand new everything. Like it just doesn't seem like Destiny, you know?
I don't think it'll be completely brand new. I think they'll figure out ways to honor what you did in the original game. I feel pretty confident about that. But it will also feel like a reset. Because to me, all that gear almost feels burdensome, where like to the point where it's detrimental to my playtime with Destiny 1, where I have to do fun stuff to get to the fun stuff. And I would love some sort of reset mechanic. What that looks like, we could talk about for longer. But yeah.
Cool.
That was our first episode of 2017, everybody. We hope you had a good time. It's good to be back.
It is great to be back.
Sean, where can people follow you on Twitter?
Shot by Finnegan is where I'm at on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always talking about video games and lots of movies. So if you're into that kind of discussion, follow me over there.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter at Destin Legary. That's it for this episode. Until next time, Guardians out.